Steph Curry with 42, Aaron Gordon with 50, matching the jersey number. If he wasn't going to get it in the dunk contest, he got it on the court in a game that mattered. A 137-131 victory for the Warriors. And Steve, I'll go open-ended to kick this off. What stood out to you about this game?
Everything stood out to me, Nekias, because it was a great basketball game between two great basketball teams. I think for me, it's just the back and forth of it all. I think if you start with Golden State, you get a sense that this is a different type of feel to a degree, that they have a little bit more versatility. They have a little bit more belief in what they can do defensively. Offensively, we know they're going to get to their movement. We know they're going to keep pressure on you, but they just kind of flow in a different way. And Stephen Curry being able to just kind of get to the spots and get to the shots that he wants to still at this time in his career, it's really hard to deal with. And so, one, I enjoyed that they went ahead and took the Band-Aid off, and we saw Steph Curry and Jonathan Kuminga and Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green and Al Horford. I wonder who thought that was a good idea. But you kind of saw them get to that. And Steph, in those late game moments, especially to me, where he was able to set up and get to his spots for those threes. Like, the range of them were insane. But the fact that he was able to say, okay, I know you're going to try and play it here. I'm going to take one dribble left, drive back to my right, and then immediately pull up. Being able to run like a in the game side out of bounds where Steph Curry's just in the backcourt with space and gets to choose which direction he wants to go to is pretty insane. Having Draymond Green and Al Horford to be able to defend Nikola Jokic is a pretty nice luxury for the Golden State Warriors. It's a possession that is still stuck in my brain where Al's guarding Jokic. They flow into a dribble handoff. Now Draymond switches onto Jokic. And Jokic is like, cool, I'll drive. He's met by Al Horford help. And I'm like, yeah, that's going to be fun in the playoffs. So really intrigued by the Warriors, but a great effort from Denver as well.
I like that. I think sticking with the Warriors quickly, it's a quiet question I was going to ask you was how you felt about how Golden State has started these games. I think naturally we were going to see a good bit of Draymond Green and Al Horford together, but it has been 2 straight games where it's like, yeah, we're going to start with Draymond at the 5. Draymond, you're going to get the Jokic assignment early. And on the other end, we don't see the cross-matching from Denver, at least to start the game, where you'd have Jokic on like Jonathan Kuminga or something like that. We did see that sprinkled in more as the game went on. But Jokic, you have to deal with Draymond at the 5 immediately. And thus, you have to deal with the Steph Curry, Draymond 2-man game immediately. So I guess more so from the Warriors side, are you surprised that they're starting with Dray at the 5 in an effort to kind of manage the Al Horford minutes? Because I thought they would have gone double big in some capacity to then flow into Dray and Al Horford together.
Well, I think it's preservation. I think it's Jonathan Kuminga belief as well. And I think, Al Horford's not playing 2 games in a back-to-back this season. So in theory, we might as well start Draymond, start Jonathan Kuminga, because that's what's going to happen. And they're on a back-to-back now. So, Al's not going to be starting. So we might as well get that group flowing. We know what we get when Al's in there. If Al's out, we know who's going to sub in and take his minutes. So it's just kind of an absorption thing to me to manage the season, which I think is going to be important for the Warriors. And that's one thing that stood out as well. It's like, okay, what combinations can they hit? What combinations do they have to hit during certain points to be able to get to the good that we know exists?
Yeah, makes sense. I think it popped for me because, as we talked about on the Pacific preview on the last episode, it's like, I know they're going to try to maintenance the Al Horford of it all to make sure he's good to go. But there is also, I think, a level of preservation that Draymond's going to need too, because you want him at peak form. And so him having to deal with a bunch of 5s, it's like, hey, just what is going to be the diet of that? I don't doubt how good he is at it, but just what is that diet going to be? So it'll treat me that this is how they started, but the logic certainly holds on that front. I guess while we're on the Golden State portion, we can go ahead and have the Jonathan Kuminga conversation if you'd like, Steve.
Are you ready? Are you ready to jump on in? Are you ready to jump to the Jonathan Kuminga? Is a good fit side? Are you ready?
No, not yet. But what I will say is that I have been impressed. I was impressed with the Jonathan Kuminga game last night. I was impressed with him in the opener against the Lakers as well. He's taken on tough defensive assignments. If we talk about early starts, here he is. Jamal Murray receives an inbound. He gets to take maybe 2 dribbles, and there's Jonathan Kuminga in front of him. It's like, okay, they are really tossing him to the wolves. You have to prove that you are willing to defend and are able to defend. He's been up to the challenge through the first 2 games. Luka had a lot of buckets in that first game, but he made Luka work for those. And so that's all you can do against star level talents. But the defensive effort has certainly been there for Jonathan Kuminga. Offensively, I haven't felt many of the catch and hold sequences that kind of bothered me in the early Kuminga years. And so, like, he's moving the ball, he's cutting when asked to, he's screening when asked to. Like, he can duck in against smaller defenders and get baskets that way. I've really appreciated the approach from Jonathan Kuminga through the first 2 games. So, like, to your question, am I ready to just fully believe this is just who Kuminga is? Not yet. I want to see a larger sample, because part of my frustration with Kuminga has been, I've seen you do this. Please continue to do it. It just kind of waxes and wanes. And, like, I think there is some understandable frustration from Kuminga's side throughout all this. Like, okay, what is the belief level in me? Contract stuff, yada, yada, yada. I am just a young, talented player that wants opportunity, so I get it. But it's more so consistency for me. And so if this is who Kuminga is going to be, we're going to have a podcast episode a few weeks out where I'm like, yeah, I'm just in. He has shown that he is just going to keep doing this. Yes. 2 games isn't enough for me to change my tune yet. I want to see him keep doing it.
See, this is where my coach brain kicks in. It's the little things. There's never a doubt that Jonathan Kuminga was a talented basketball player. There's never a doubt that Jonathan Kuminga could help the Golden State Warriors. Was he going to do the little things every single night? You mentioned the cutting. I'm talking about defense as well. The play that he had late in that game where they are in pick and roll, Steph Curry switches and then immediately goes to the corner because I'm not guarding Nikola Jokic. And Jonathan Kuminga is right there on the catch. That counts. That's impactful.
Yeah.
Those are winning plays. That makes Steve Kerr warm in the chest when he sees that. That's what you want to see. Even the effort to go ahead and at the end of the game on that last play to get in there and try and get a hand on the ball. Like that's what he has to do every single night. So if I know now I can bake in the defense, I can trust you're going to do the right things. I know you're going to move the ball. I already know you're good. That's kind of the blend. And this is why early season success is really important for teams. You get belief, you get buy-in, you have some wins to go with it, you keep moving forward. And so that's where I'm like, I'm high on what I've seen because I'm seeing more of those little things that will keep you on the floor. And he's getting more of those moments and opportunities to stay on the floor.
Yeah, I think that is more than fair. So again, for me, I guess it's more cautious optimism for me on the Kuminga front. But to your point, like, he is doing it and he deserves to be praised for doing it. I just want to see him keep doing it. It's just the general point for me. Actually, on the Denver side, mentioned at the top, Aaron Gordon with 50 points in this basketball game. Shot the leather off the ball. Made his first 8 threes, I believe, before he finally missed one. Incredible shooting performance, which builds on the great shooting year that he had last year. And, I don't think he is a 90% three-point shooter this year. But if Aaron Gordon is just a guy that can knock down shots and you can't afford to put centers on him, you can't afford to just gap him off the ball, that does change some things for the Denver offense and how teams try to deal with the Denver offense. And I think more than anything, as I was trying to figure out like just major things for Denver, it was the Gordon points and the threes, but the Gordon involvement period just seemed a lot higher. Here he is running, I think, 7 or 8 pick and rolls in this game. You still have the off-ball usage. Again, knock down a bunch of threes. But if this is going to be one of the tweaks that we see under the first full season of David Adelman, we want to make sure Aaron Gordon is just even more involved in our half-court flow. Take some pressure off of Jamal Murray to create a whole bunch of stuff. Take some pressure off of Jokic to create a whole bunch of stuff. If we are going to get more volume out of the Swiss Army knife that is Aaron Gordon, I'm intrigued by that.
I mean, the box scores, the threes were loud, the drives were there. I think back, and we've seen with this Denver team, with Nikola Jokic, with Jamal Murray, with Aaron Gordon, them being able to just put so much pressure on you in the fourth quarter by using those 3 in action together. I did not know that would mean we're going to run elbow action. This screen from Jamal Murray for Aaron Gordon is now actually a flare for a 3, and that's a wide open look that went, like, that's adding another layer to something that was already tough to guard. And so I think his improvements going to get better. I think overall you saw Jamal Murray, again, when you see him driving, you see him getting downhill, that's a different player. And when he's playing at a high level, we know where he takes Denver. I'm very intrigued to see what they did because Denver mixed some different things in defensively. Jokic, occasionally you switch. Jokic, occasionally you be at the level. Let's go zone and try and just mix things up. So I like the fact that they're attempting different things on defense. It's going to take time. Like, this is game 1. So you really just got to track and see what the attempts are, what works, what doesn't work, and see what they move on. I like the rotation and the depth from the perspective that anyone could play with Jokic, right? So when you make your first subs, you trust whoever's out there to be able to play off Jokic. But now you get to these second unit lineups, and Jonas Valanciunas is very important, very key for them. Like, he just can do a lot of things. I don't want to use the word handoff hub today, but we know that you can play through him. I think when you have quality players like Bruce Brown, like Tim Hardaway Jr. that can mix and match with both lineups, or you can have Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon with JV in the bench lineup, it gives Denver just a lot of lineup versatility that helps them going forward. And so I like kind of that aspect of it for them.
Oh, I'm right there with you. Just having that kind of, I guess, scheme continuity just keeps a consistent level of pressure on opposing teams. Like, okay, cool. Jokic is taking a break. We don't have to deal with all these passes and all these high post stuff. Oh, no, it's just JV. He will also hit you in the chest. And then here's the movement shooting of Tim Hardaway Jr. Quality game for him off the bench last night. To your point, it just makes Denver that much more difficult to deal with. I guess a quick question I will toss your way in regards to Jokic, who just, I don't know if you can have quiet triple doubles, but I guess he did have a quiet triple double in this game. 13 threes for him in this one. It felt like he became more jumper heavy as the game went on, at least in my viewing. If this is a year that Jokic just takes more threes in general, like, I don't think I mind that. 13 certainly felt like a lot, considering some of the size advantages he had at different points of this game. Did the 3-point volume pop at all for you for Jokic, or was that just a me thing?
This is absolutely a Nekias Duncan thing. Okay. This has a Nekias Earl Grey Duncan stamp right on it.
Not an Earl Grey stamp. That's crazy. But no, it was just like just one off. I think his career high was 14. Set that against Charlotte last year. We had like 29 and 17 or something ridiculous in that game. But I was like, okay, I'm intrigued because I think we both believe Jokic is the best player in the league. And at least in the half court, he's the most difficult guy to deal with in the league. And so if that is going to be an even bigger part of his arsenal, I will have just the back of the mind question of, okay, what exactly is this blend going to be for him? Because we know he can get to that floater whenever he wants to touch shot, especially when him and Jamal Murray are in two-man game together. We know when he is just purely on the block, there isn't much you can do. You send help from anywhere. He sees it before you think about doing it. And so will you find the right blend of the perimeter usage for him? I trust that he will, but like, it did kind of stand out to me last night. Like, oh, the approach does feel a little different in this one.
I have a question for you.
What's up?
How'd you feel about Cam Johnson and Christian Braun in this basketball game?
I think you would want both of them to perform better, but like, honestly, process-wise, I didn't really mind it. Like, I think Cam Johnson had opportunities to drive. He certainly had spot-up opportunities. He just missed shots. I would be more concerned if this was a heavy turn down game for him, to where he is driving when he probably had a shot, or he is shooting when he probably had a drive. Like, I didn't really feel that in this game. And kind of a similar thing for Christian Braun. More so tracking the defense than anything, because I know he can play off of Jokic. Like, there were some finishes at the rim, and I talked about on the preview, hey, the half court finishing feels better for him early on, and he certainly took a leap last year. Some bunnies that you would like to see go down for him, but this is more, I think they will make these than any kind of concern area. Was there anything that stood out to you that kind of raised the brow?
No, I mean, I think the fit for Cam Johnson is there. It's just going to be, okay, aggression, which kind do you have at times? So I liked in the preseason kind of the version of playmaking that he can have, where he gets a handoff, pick and roll. I can take one dribble, I can hold the defense, I can get to the big. Don't make that the automatic.
Yeah.
And then for Christian Braun, we've seen what he can do. So, I mean, tough night, but we know he can produce for this team. And again, I think I like the fact they have the depth. So, I mean, if they have an off night, we can still get certain things from different people. So just figured I'd get your opinion on that.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Trying to think, is there anybody? Jimmy Butler seems more spry. Seems like a big thing. It would appear that he is healthier, because towards the end of the playoff run last year, he just was not. And so it is cool to see, at least through the first two games for him. Again, the Warriors, one of the two teams that have already played two. Nice to see him driving. Nice to see him getting to the line a bunch. And then kill shot above the break three to help cap things for Golden State last night. So if this is going to be the Jimmy Butler that we get, he is just healthier and happier, and he's more willing to pull the trigger. Like, that was a question that I sprinkled out on the preview. If he's just going to be, I'll put my head down, especially in these non-Steph minutes, I'm in, or even more in on Golden State, if this is the Jimmy Butler that we're going to get. So I wanted to make sure I said his name on the pod at the very least. But I was impressed by the Jimmy performance.
Can I tell you my favorite Jimmy Butler play?
You sure can.
This is the second quarter. I think Aaron Gordon had just hit another three. Shocker. But Steph Curry's racing up the court, and there's two on him, and Jimmy Butler's running the court. He just bear hugs, I think it was Cam Johnson, to be like, you can't help. And got away with it. And I was like, yeah, that's a smart play. Like, Jimmy Butler doing high IQ things in Golden State is funny. Because it's like, yeah, I can do all this stuff, but also
bully you.
Look at the basketball brain, you know? Like, that's good stuff there. So, I mean, it was good. Honestly, I liked, for Denver, the back and forth nature of it was fun. You know, for Denver to be able to establish, I mean, Golden State jumps on them. Denver comes back, takes a big lead in the second quarter. Golden State doesn't let go of the rope. They come back, and now we're just kind of going at it in the middle of the ring. I enjoyed that aspect. I think that's kind of just going to be the Western Conference in general. Like, who has it on this night, and how can we poke at each other, and what do we do next time we see each other?